All right, everyone. So this is the sixth video on behaviorals, and we're going to be covering a pretty common question that comes up, and that's what are some of your strengths and your weaknesses, right? This is a little bit more rare. The other five that I covered, those come up without a doubt in basically every single coffee chat and interaction that you're going to have, right? This might come up, it might not come up, but throughout your investment banking process, it is definitely a question that you're going to get, and that's why it is kind of in the definitely bucket, right? So let's talk about your strengths first, right? So what you want to say in your strengths is basically perfectly in line with what a banker wants to hear about your strengths, right? So saying something like you're analytical, that's good. Saying something around like you're detail oriented, that's always good. And make sure that you have like a little bit of like context around each one of these, like a little short story, right? It's like, oh, like when I was doing this work for this company, like something that I took a lot of pride in was how analytical I was, or how detail oriented, or like how I worked well on like a team or something like that, right? um something around like those would be a pretty good strength overall. I would have like maybe like two or three strengths kind of prepared. Now, for the strengths, you just want to make it seem like they're perfectly in line with what an investment banking associate does, right? It's not, I wouldn't say that you're good at something that isn't related to the job, right? Because at the end of the day, like even if that is your greatest strength, well, like unless you can translate that into what that looks like, and it's super easy to see what that looks like as an investment banking associate, well, like they don't really care about it, unfortunately, right? So, let's move on to weaknesses, right? So, a couple of weaknesses um, that I think can kind of work is talking about how you might like hesitate to ask for help too early, right? Um, and that's something that you're working on, and this is what I've done to kind of work on it, right? You might say that like you might be like naturally quiet in group settings first, or something like that, right? Um, that was atrocious. I was talking about my handwriting there. Um, or like basically you want your weakness to it's kind of like a fine line to draw, right? You don't want it to be something that's just like, oh, I'm way too perfectionistic, or I work too hard, right? Because those are just like you're giving them a non-weakness. It's kind of like it almost comes off as like selfish or like arrogant. Not selfish, yeah, like arrogant, right? That like, oh yeah, like your weakness is that you're too perfect. Like really, like I'm not buying it, right? Some other things to not say is that like don't say that you're bad with Excel, right? Or you're bad with accounting, or you don't handle stress well, or you're not a people's person, or you struggle with attention to detail, right? I mean, this is honestly, I think, way more important than the strengths, right? For the strengths, you can kind of like BS it and say like, okay, like whatever, like that kind of aligns. Now, the area that's dangerous is your weaknesses, right? So if you say that you struggle with attention to detail, oof, that hurts, right? That could really hurt you, right? If you say that like, oh, you tend to freeze and break down under stress, right? And you've been working on it by doing this, this, and this, that still hurts a lot, right? So that's how I would really kind of look at the weaknesses. Make sure that you first off make sure that the weakness is kind of a non-weakness, but it doesn't come off as arrogant, right? Um, and that then you acknowledge that weakness. You show that you've kind of learned from that weakness a little bit, and what you're currently doing to kind of like grow from it. And maybe if you want to tie that to an investment banking setting, you can. But yeah, I would say that that's kind of how to handle the strengths and weaknesses question.